I'm installing the Wolfbox 840S camera system. And the first thing I'm going to do is open up the area to the fuse panel and remove the A pillar. Okay, I took this panel off right here. There was 2 screws, one that went, oh no, there was just 1 screw. This one right there, and then this just pops off. And here you can see behind this panel, there's a nice place for grounding that you can use. And here's where I have to disconnect this because I'm running a new camera system, but this is where I had my Rexing dash cam connection. And then if you want to pull off your A pillar, you just start at the top and pop it off and go down to the bottom, and then it lifts. Oh, make sure you disconnect your speaker. And then it just pulls out from the bottom. And now you have your A pillar out. And the B pillar side is exactly the same way. Okay, so now you can see how LTV ran the speaker wire, for the, for Bluetooth phone. And then here's where I ran my backup camera wire. So I'll be pulling all that out because I'm going to be running that new Wolfbox camera. Okay, I am here in the cab area, and this is the driver's foot area, which is where the chassis battery is. So I'm going to be removing all the flooring basically to open up underneath so I can get to the chassis battery. And I've already disconnected the negative. This is the negative to the chassis battery, so you always want to disconnect that first. And these screws right here in this piece are Torx head T25. So I'm going to go ahead and remove this panel and take this up to show where the chassis battery is. Okay, now you lift out this mat to get to the battery box. And then here's the chassis battery box. And there's 4 screws, and those are T30 Torx head screws. And then you remove the cover, and there's your chassis battery. Now this is my 2014 Unity Murphy bed chassis battery, which is a Group 49 AGM battery. Okay, now I'm going to have to run my camera, my new camera. The old camera, this is my old camera, and I don't know if you can see it, but there is a grommet where they were laser drilled in on the top part. So I'm going to undo that camera, take and pull it out, and hope that I can snake my new camera, my new Wolfbox camera wire cable through that existing hole. If not, I'll drill a new hole, which isn't a big deal because the whole back mask on these LTVs from this seam to the back is hollow. So if you drill a hole anywhere on the back mask, so I will get on with investigating that and seeing if I can reuse the existing hole. Okay, well this is turning out to be a little bit harder than anticipated. I had to get my snake out and snake, which was very difficult to snake my line. All right, a few hours later, I finally got it to go up through. And the way I did it was I had to run my snake over to this corner and get it to come down this edge, because where this part goes in, it just leaves a teeny tiny crack, and I could not pull that end of that cable. It was too thick to get through here. So I had to push my snake over to come down this corner and down this wider pillar. And then you can see where the wire, where my snake came out and where the wire's going up. So that's the only way. Basically, the corner is your only channel, because it's the only thing that's wide enough. You know, you've got this width that's open, and that's your channel to pull stuff up. So, straight over to the corner, and I just moved the snake around to get it to go down the corner, and then I just kept wiggling it as I pushed it down, and it came right down to there, and then I was able to tie my end and pull it all back through. Okay, so I will be able to get on with my camera installation. I know you can't really see that. Oh, there's better. I'll be able to get on with my camera installation now. Snake to the new wire. Now that red wire is not going to be, I'm not going to be connecting that. That's if you want the reverse things to show up, you know, when you're reversing where you're going, which I don't care about that. So I'm not going to, you'd have to hook that red wire up to your reversing tail light. And that's not something, I mean, you can do it. You just have to pull the reverse tail light, the red backup light, and hook it up to the backup to get the signal. But it's not worth it to me, so I'll get on with it. Okay, I've pulled the wire through from the back. I haven't zip tied it up or anything, but basically I'm pulling it down to the battery box location, which is essentially on the other side of that metal cross member. And you can just barely see cables going up to a box on the left side, and that's the battery box. Basically right there. So, once I get up to that area, I'm going to see where a good place to drill is. I'm going to drill through the battery box and push the cable up through. And then once I verify the camera's working and everything, then I'll come back under and zip tie everything nice and neat. I used my step bit to drill about a 3/8 inch hole, which goes outside in my battery box. And that's where I'm going to push in the Wolfbox connector for the camera. So I'll go underneath and do that. Okay, there is the hole that I drilled through on the battery box. Here's what the battery box looks like from the back side facing the front of the Sprinter. So I'm just going to reach up there and push my wire through, and I could get on with it. Okay, there's my camera cable. Got it all pulled through. Now I'm basically going to be running it up here, across the dash, up through the fuse panel area, up next to the A-pillar against the window, up to the corner, tuck it under the headliner, and over to the rear view mirror. I did add some foam, put some foam in the hole, so that hole stays sealed up, and I'll get on with my installation. Okay, now I went ahead and put the camera on. I just used the smallest straps that came with it. Just placed it over the mirror. You do want to make sure on this side that you leave enough room for the front-facing camera to stick out over the edge of the mirror. So now I can start plugging everything in and get to the point of testing. Now, if you remove this panel right here, which only has one screw attachment from there, then you have a nice ground bolt here that you can use for your installation. Plus it, oh, and if you remove your A pillar, then you have a nice clear opening from the top of your dash down here to the bottom. And I ran this tube so I can just go ahead and connect my wires, tape my wires to it, and just pull it straight up through all of this. And then you don't have to try and pull back this foam, you know, and conceal under the foam. So, you know, consider that, because it's really easy to remove this panel with one screw, and then as I showed you, pop off that A pillar, and then you have, you know, clear shot to run your wire up along the side like Leisure did with the speaker, and then up, you know, just tuck it in up under the headliner and over to your rear view mirror. Okay, I installed a bar. I used a piece of aluminum bar stock that I had. I drilled a hole so I could mount the little mirror connection plate to the bar, and I used VHB tape to stick it to my windshield. So now that is a very secure hold for my new Wolfbox camera system and my rear view mirror. So now I can get on with my installation. I've got the, as you can see, I've got the wires starting to tuck up under the front edge of the headliner. I'm probably going to use some foam to stuff in between there a little bit to make sure they stay pushed back in. So let me get on with it. Okay, so I've got the power 12-volt power supply for the Wolfbox camera wired. I used their little add-a-fuse, but I actually changed the fuse to a 10 amp because these are little small wires. I mean, it probably could be lower, but a 10 amp should be a better match than a 15 amp fuse. So, and then as far as connecting to the add-a-fuse, I actually connected both the ACC and the B plus together because I don't want the camera to run when the ignition is off. So I hooked both of them to this single power supply, which I'm going to plug into an ignition only constant voltage into slot number 10. But first I need to get on my wiring, put in this area, and hook up my grounds, and get all that zip tied together, and then I'll be ready to test it. Okay, I've got all that tidied up and tightened down. Well, it turns out that position number 10 is hot. After I plugged in my my battery again, and I test this, you can see it's hot. So I'm going to move up here to I'm going to move up here to slot 16. It's a 10 amp. I'm going to use that to power my camera. I don't have it plugged in, but anyway, if you want to test, all you have to do is touch the little silver part on the fuse, and you'll see your voltage. And if you don't have the ignition in or the key on and you have voltage, then that's hot constantly. So you want to test your fuses till you find one that you can use that is a only ignition, which means when you're testing it now with the key out, there'll be no voltage. And that's what I did to find position number 16. Okay, I got the two cameras mounted. And I put them back in the same grommet. So they now I just have to adjust them, get them their view correctly. Okay, there's my cameras. They look nice. All right, I can get on with setting up my Wolfbox and getting these adjusted. And now my view is correct. You have to keep hitting the stop recording. Okay, then you can go through and do your settings. I'm not going to do a video of that. But I am going to leave my clip time. I'm going to put it on 1 minute, just because I don't want to use up a lot. You know, I don't want long clips. I think 1 minute is plenty of time. So I'm going to get on with my settings now. Okay, here's a picture while I'm driving with the Wolfbox camera. The 11.6-inch monitor I added for my old rear view and side view cameras. This little speedometer, large screen speedometer. And then here's a view of all of it together while driving.